we look at the industry, we find in many instances health plans and even self-funded groups are depending on their PBM to detect fraud. The extent of that is typically the PBM just looking at pharmacies, looking at maybe pharmacies are producing scripts and they're going to check a signature log. What we think is the real opportunity is the approach that CMS is taking. CMS has their own fraud unit. They're hiring what they call medics and RAC auditors going in and looking at health plans that are involved in the federal spend and trying to figure out whether or not people are diverting drugs, are pharmacies manufacturing prescriptions, and that's the extent of it. Our approach is to take and look for patterns in the data, look for the potential, what I call triangulation. What's the relationship between a patient, their pharmacy, and a physician? So we're looking for distance to pharmacy, distance to the prescriber, and ascertaining things like, are there compounded prescriptions involved? This looks like it's automated. So the comparison that we make is on those three instances. I call them the 3 Ps: patient, provider, and prescriber. So we look for those patterns. We've been finding an awful lot of instances where patients are moving from pharmacy to pharmacy. We feel that that's an indication of someone who's just manufacturing prescriptions. We have some experience in South Florida where there are actually people who are brokering patient names and ID numbers to pharmacies saying, you can go ahead and fill scripts for these guys, and CMS, no one seems to catch it. The other thing we're seeing in the data, and I'm going to tell you an advantage that we have, is that we're also looking at what we call backdated claims. We look at claims where someone's no longer eligible and a pharmacy manufactures a year's worth of claims. That is another practice that we see, happening an awful lot. Typically, the adjudication systems at the PBM will allow for, they keep the window of the adjudication process open for 6 months or so. Their hope is that people will reverse claims. Claims that are not picked up by a patient will be reversed, but it has the further side effect of allowing pharmacies to bill claims retrospectively. So in the case of a patient death, in a case of a patient being non-eligible, we see patterns where pharmacies are filling scripts going back at least 90 days, if not more, to get those claims filled in. Yeah, the real advantage that we have in our Reveal Fraud, Waste, and Abuse module is these are built in. These are built-in algorithms that report, almost auto-report to you these instances. And so what Reveal is designed to do is to create instances, once again, where we're going to find the opportunity to take a look at whether or not this is a fraudulent occurrence and hand it either back to the vendor, which in this case might be the PBM, or write it directly into the SIU unit, Special Investigative Unit at the health plan. Also, these instances, if you're a Med-D or a Medicaid plan, these should also be turned over to CMS for investigation. They have the situation where they'll actually do the investigative work. You receive kudos for turning in investigative opportunities by culling your data. So we think that it could be as much as 3% of the drug spend that's being diverted. So one other thing I'd love to talk about is that we're the only people that have the ability to integrate both medical and pharmacy into a fraud, waste, and abuse environment. What that allows us to do is better filter, better focus on situations where, let's say we see prescriptions being dispensed, high-cost prescriptions, especially AIDS, hepatitis C, popular high-cost drugs we're seeing in the data, and we see no commensurate physician visit, no medical interference at all. That's pure diversion. It's a matter of moments once the data is embedded into the system. As all our Reveal products do, this data can be loaded as often as real time. Typically, the frequency would be at minimum daily, but yet the system is designed to backfill in. So a typical installation process in Reveal would have us loading at least 6 months to 1 year's worth of claims, and the algorithms can be run against those so that we have an idea how bad the situation is, how we should focus our efforts on an ongoing basis. But it's really easy to do.